Did you miss your Metal Gear Solid 3 review? You did, but it will be up on our YouTube channel later tonight. So make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/@2pennygames. Again, youtube.com/@2pennygames. The at symbol there. Moving on, Connor, to topic number 3, your second penny of the day. Go ahead, take it away, my friend.
I was getting the time code, and you just kept talking, and I had to change it just...
Well, Luigi.
It was even after that. Film adaptations of Sleeping Dogs and Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Let me pause you real quick. Phil, in the chat, if you want to link the reviews for Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 into the chat, we have reviews for Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 up on the channel right now. So you can watch those while you're waiting for the MGS3 review to hit. Subscribe.
There we go. Well, film adaptations of Sleeping Dogs and Claire Obscure Expedition 33 in development. 2 new film adaptations of video games have been announced this past week from Square Enix's Sleeping Dogs and Kepler's Interactive's yet-to-be-released Claire Obscure Expedition 33, with media company Story Kitchen spearheading their projects. Only 3 weeks following an official cancellation of an adaptation of Sleeping Dogs announced back in 2017, star of Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Simu Liu, responded to an X, formerly Twitter, user's plea for the actor to comment on his viability starring in the leading role, posting, quote, "Working with the rights holders to bring Sleeping Dogs to the big screen," end quote. Little did we know. Liu would make a subsequent post the following day expressing his desire for a movie to kickstart production of a video game sequel. Liu writes, quote, "So few film projects make it from pitch phase to greenlight. Pitching execs who don't understand the game has been tiring. Everyone's overwhelming love of Sleeping Dogs here has really given us life. First a movie, then a sequel game for everyone. That's always been the dream," end quote. While speculation on the validity of Liu's aspirations continued, IGN reports by way of a source close to the project that the development is currently underway, with Liu set to produce and star in the leading role. Story Kitchen, who worked on the Sonic the Hedgehog film series and adaptations in the Tomb Raider franchise, is reportedly leading the project, while the cinematizing of games It Takes Two, Streets of Rage, and Just Cause are ongoing as well. In addition to Sleeping Dogs, Variety reports a live-action film adaptation of Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is in production from Story Kitchen, with the current focus being, quote, "casting and directorial decisions," end quote. Claire Obscure is set in a fantastical fictional world inspired by France's Belle Epoque, a period of French history from 1871 to 1914, where an annual expedition to cease a yearly eradication of persons in a specified age group sets off. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 was recently a part of Microsoft's 2025 Developer Direct, where it showcased a wondrous setting and a strong focus on crafting a deep, emotionally resonant narrative. Story Kitchen was launched in 2022 by Sonic the Hedgehog producer Dimitri M. Johnson and TV film IP agent Mike Goldberg from the independent artist group AIG, then known as the Agency for Performing Arts, APA. So the weird thing about
Also worth noting, Beyond Two Souls, Quantic Dream's Beyond Two Souls, getting a TV adaptation.
From Elliot Page's production, Page something, which was, I double-checked because I forgot about that announcement. The weird thing is that Story Kitchen is in charge of all of these projects, and yet they only came about in 2022. Now, they have industry backing. They're from people who have worked in the industry of adaptations of video games into movies. But it's really weird that all of a sudden, just tons of projects are being put onto their lap. From the Tomb Raider stuff to working to a degree on the Sonic the Hedgehog films to other adaptations of Streets of Rage, It Takes Two, and now Claire Obscure. Very weird decisions for what you're going to adapt. You would think you'd go for things that are far more tested, and that's clearly what has been done in the past, with the most famous ones being things like the Resident Evil franchise.
Granted, Streets of Rage, Sleeping Dogs, you can kind of picture that movie as a dope brawler action movie.
Conceptually, it makes sense. Yeah. It's just in addition to the games that aren't yet on those levels and aren't provenly proper things to be made into film.
Who's asking for this?
Nobody.
Really? Listen, I played Sleeping Dogs. I like Sleeping Dogs. I didn't play it all the way through, but I played a good amount of hours of it. It's a good game. You should play it if you haven't played it. Guys, we need to let it go. Listen, it was cool. It was dope. I like seeing it. This is not an IP that we need to attach ourselves to.
The absolutely pathetic thing to happen is this is cult appreciation. And you're acting like this is mainstream appreciation. and you just got to beat them down more. The whole thing about being cult fans of something is that you don't have chance on your side. You don't have the grounds to be optimistic, so you're happy when you get it.
We don't have a Metal Gear Solid movie, and you motherfuckers want a goddamn Sleeping Dogs movie.
It's more impressive because Sleeping Dogs is getting all of this without being Metal Gear Solid. It's a relatively obscure game that's
Also,
being able.
I want to know, what is Simu Liu's connection to this? Why does he care so much? You just played the game and liked it? He's not in the game. I just checked.
No, he's not. He's going to be planning on doing the leading role.
He just likes Sleeping Dogs?
Yeah, I mean it is a Chinese focused game. He clearly does care a lot about
Chinese?
that. He should be. Yeah. The thing about Liu though is that he had
Liu
a weird,
or Liu?
I think it's Liu.
I don't know.
Liu. I'm not the best with Asian names, with Chinese names particularly.
Thanks for the help. Phil just says Asian in the chat. Thanks. Appreciate it.
The guy who can look it up. Yeah, he was kind of weird because there was like a Reddit. He was found to be connected to a Reddit account where I might be butchering this because it wasn't like he was sexually harassing anybody, but he was on like I think he was talking bad about Asian people or something. No, he was acting kind of like a white supremacist, but not a white supremacist. It was really weird.
There's a lot of context we're missing here, Connor.
I'll say you would think from the account that he was white, he was Asian.
All right.
And it was a weird story. It wasn't like
people fuck around on the internet all the time.
They do.
Doja Cat got in a lot of trouble for it, you know?
See, that's something I don't know about.
Yeah, she got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, besides his Asian connection, I don't really see the big reason why he'd be advocating for this other than being a fan for the game, which is the only thing I can believe. It's just really weird that they canceled it just a little bit ago, and now they're like, oh, well, here's this other plans that are being made with different people involved. Why? You'd think those things those conversations would happen simultaneously, not kind of seemingly separate. No, of course, a lot of this stuff has been behind closed doors, so we don't really know the full development of how all of this has gone on.
Phil says Chinese.
Chinese, so I was right. Yeah. I guess they would have been weird making him a Chinese character, a very definitively Chinese character.
Hollywood only cares about them looking right.
They definitely do now.
Yeah.
The weird one's clear obscure. Why? Hey,
listen, we're excited for that game.
And it looks like narrative is going to be a big feature of that game, and you can translate that over to movies, but
why?
Why? Yeah, why that specifically? A lot of games have good narratives.
Yeah.
And, this one...
You're telling me we're getting this before we're getting fucking Dragon Age or Final Fantasy or what? I was thinking about this. Final Fantasy, if you're doing a film adaptation, you should probably just do 7, right? That one makes the most sense. I mean, I guess maybe 16 or something if you wanted to do one of the new ones or whatever.
6 is like
10.
6 is really good because you have a lot of different characters and you can have multiple things. You switch to like story beat to story beat to story beat and change characters alongside it.
But also, what would you call it? You can't call it Final Fantasy.
No.
Well, I mean, you could. That would be a very bad marketing decision to call it Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 6 or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know if you're able to call it.
I think you would just call it the Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy, and if you were to do sequels,
I feel like you find a title for it. One Winged Angel quote or colon a Final Fantasy story.
Sounds worse. I hate that. I hate that, especially by the way, where it's like so and so story. Like just like even if it's true, why is that in part of the title or part of the marketing?
I don't know, because you want to attach it to the IP, but like
they still do that with Star Wars.
Final
though.
Fantasy as a name does not sell tickets.
No.
Right, but Star Wars started as Star Wars. It didn't start as Star Wars A New Hope.
What's happened? You say that it doesn't sell tickets. Will this or so?
No,
I think less.
No,
so it doesn't seem like that's the concern
also,
here.
We've been saying up and down for months. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is a bad name.
It is a bad name.
That's a bad name for your video game.
Expedition 33. Just do that.
Claire Obscure alone would have been fine. It's both of them that I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Is those
Expedition 33 is better.
Yeah, it is, but yeah, we'll see what the quality is. They're far out. There's this big sweep of trying to make more adaptations of video games now that we've had Sonic be successful, Mario especially successful, being the #1 best-selling video game adaptation. And so clearly they're just going to ride this for the next couple of fucking years.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's working, work it, but this is a weird switch. Sleeping Dogs also so much more violent than either of your other properties. So. Fucking strange.